Welcome to Module 1.
Essential information. There are 4 areas of Scouting that this module explores: the fundamentals of Scouting, the structure of Scouting, safety and safeguarding. Each of these sections will give you the basic information you need to get started in your role.
Hi, I'm Bear Grylls, Chief Scout, and really thank you so much for joining us as a volunteer and being part of the Scouting adventure. And like me, I'm sure you fit your volunteering around a very busy lifestyle, but my mum used to say, if you want to get something done, ask a busy person. In Scouting, we believe all young people have the right to an adventure. This could be a Beaver Scout spending their first time away from home, or an explorer going on their first international expedition. But adventure is at the heart of what we do. But really, I just want to take this chance to say a massive thank you to you on behalf of all the young people who benefit from Scouting. And it's because of what you do. Together, you make these adventures possible. Thank you.
Fundamentals.
Scouting is a worldwide values-based educational movement. Scouting believes that the world is a better place when people are trustworthy, self-controlled and self-confident, have self-respect and respect for others, work together to serve other people and to improve society, show responsibility towards the natural world, have proper respect for possessions and property, and have a religious faith. Membership of the movement is voluntary and available to all who accept its fundamental values.
In this session, we'll be covering the fundamentals of the Scouting movement.
And by the end of it, you should be able to outline the purpose, principle and method of the Scout Association, state the promise and law and explain how they relate to the fundamentals of the Scout Association, explain that Scouting is open to all young people and operates an equal opportunities policy, explain how policy, organisation and rules is relevant to your role and the role of others in Scouting.
There are 3 fundamentals on which the Scout movement is founded. These are the purpose, what we do, the principles, why we do it, and the method, how we do it.
Our founder, Baden-Powell, laid down these fundamentals more than 100 years ago. Society has changed dramatically over the last century, and so how we put these fundamentals into practice has inevitably changed as well. However, the fundamental principles of Scouting remain the same. Not all adults are required to make the promise, but everyone is required to accept and promote the values and policies of the association. It is important that all adults in Scouting are working together to contribute to the development of the young people in Scouting. The purpose of Scouting is to contribute to the development of young people in achieving their full physical, intellectual, social and spiritual potentials as individuals, as responsible citizens, and as members of their local, national and international communities. This purpose articulates what Scouting sets out to do. Scouting achieves its purpose and works well when young people enjoy learning by doing in partnership with adults.
Today I learned how to do draw strokes and how to paddle normally, and I just feel more comfortable now on the water. I go to Scouts because I just love being with my friends, and all the activities we do are just so amazing, and we get the chance to see loads of different countries and meet new people, and I just love the whole Scouting movement.
This is the Scout method. It is the programme and activities that Scouting offers and is likely to be the part of Scouting that people are most familiar with. Scouting uses a method which is young people in partnership with adults enjoying what they are doing, learning by doing, participating in varied and progressive activities, making choices for themselves, taking responsibility for their own actions, working in groups, taking increasing responsibility for others, taking part in activities outdoors, sharing in prayer and worship, making and living out their promise. The programme we offer covers everything that young people do in Scouting from age 6 to 25. It gives young people the opportunity to learn by doing and is based around helping them to develop knowledge, skills and attitudes. Without realising, this Scout has learned by doing, a new paddle stroke, taken responsibility for their own actions, brought suitable clothing and arrived on time, taken responsibility for others, checked out Scout's buoyancy aids and equipment, worked in a group, enjoyed what she was doing. This is the Scout method. Our principles: duty to self, duty to others, duty to God, duty to self, encouraging people to develop their own gifts and talents and to be responsible for who they become and what they do. Duty to others, encouraging people to share in the development of society, both local, national and international, to respect others and to protect the natural world around them. Duty to God, helping young people seek a spiritual dimension to life and to explore and value their personal faith. These three principles are embodied in the promise and law that young people and adults take in order to become members of the association. All members required to make the promise, from the Scout section through to adult membership, make the same promise.
On my honour, I promise that I will do my best to do my duty to God and to the Queen, to help other people and to keep the Scout law. This same image can also be used to help remind us of the three fundamentals of the Scouting movement: the purpose, the method, the principles.
There are three versions of the promise and the law. Each version is written to be appropriate to the level of understanding of each of the age groups within the movement. For Beavers, for Cub Scouts, for Scouts, Explorer Scouts, Scout Network members, young leaders and adult volunteers. The Beaver section has no law, just a simple promise that each Beaver Scout makes when he or she is invested.
I promise to do my best to be kind and helpful and to love God.
The Cub Scout section has both a promise and a law, although the promise is essentially the same for Cub Scouts, Scouts, Explorer Scouts, Scout Network members and adults. The law is different. The Cub Scout promise is:
I promise that I will do my best to do my duty to God and to the Queen, to help other people and to keep the Cub Scout law. The Cub Scout law is: Cub Scouts always do their best, think of others before themselves and do a good turn every day.
Scouts, Explorer Scouts, Network members and adult volunteers all make the same promise and abide by the same set of 7 Scout laws. In essence, they are basically the same as those originally formulated by Lord Baden-Powell, although they have been updated several times to reflect changes in society and the admission of girls as full members of the movement.
The Scout promise is: on my honour, I promise that I will do my best to do my duty to God and to the Queen, to help other people and to keep the Scout law.
There are also variations to the wording of the promise available to represent the different faiths, cultures and abilities of our membership.
The Scout law is: a Scout is to be trusted, a Scout is loyal, a Scout is friendly and considerate, a Scout belongs to the worldwide family of Scouts, a Scout has courage in all difficulties, a Scout makes good use of time and is careful of possessions and property, a Scout has self-respect and respect for others. The promise and law are something that marks a Scout, because it's not just something that we say, but demonstrated through what we do. The Scout movement is voluntary and available to all who accept its fundamental values. By taking the promise, an individual becomes a member of the Scout movement. Adults who do not wish to take the promise may become associate members.
Within the framework of the fundamentals of Scouting, the Scout Association is committed to equality of opportunity for all young people and adults. Being open to all is a fundamental element of our purpose as an organisation. Our Equal Opportunities Policy states that no young person should receive less favourable treatment on the basis of class, ethnic origin, nationality or statelessness, or race, gender, marital or sexual status, mental or physical ability or political or religious belief. The Scout Association opposes all forms of racism. As adults in Scouting, this is something we all have a responsibility to ensure.
In this section, you have been introduced to the fundamentals of Scouting: the purpose, the method, and the principles. These are the pillars on which the Scout movement is founded.
We have also looked at the Scout Promise and Law and their variations. The Scouts' Equal Opportunity Statement has also been identified. Before we go any further into this DVD, we need to tell you about the POR. All the information you have just heard about and more can be found in this document. Scouting is supported by a document called the POR, or Policy, Organisation and Rules. POR has information on the organisation of Scouting, its policies and activities, and provides one central reference point for all our rules and policies. The nature of the role you have agreed to take on will dictate how often you need to refer back to this document. However, it is worth everyone being familiar with its contents. Chapter 1 of the POR tells you about the fundamentals that we have just covered in the first part of this DVD, and we will refer back to the POR again as we go through this module. Of course, POR is not your only source of support and information related to the rules and policies of our organisation. If you have any questions or concerns, then you can speak to your line manager, other adults in Scouting, the Information Centre or other staff at your national headquarters.